Hey everybody, welcome back to Unwrapping the Boss Monster. This is quite the tedious task, but we're going to get through it. This is where we left off last time. We got the arms pretty much completely unwrapped, so now we're going to focus on the rest of it. So let's start with the cannons. We'll start with these pieces right here. Which they're mirrored, so... Hey Atticus, how's it going? So since these are mirrored, we might have to unwrap them once and we'll do it for both sides. So we'll go ahead and apply the bevel and get to it. Now how I like to do shapes like this is unwrap all the edges except one. So if we unwrap this, you get a shape like that. It's kind of butterflies out, which is nice. And then after we get everything unwrapped, we're going to have to figure out how to sort of combine objects, because certain things are going to have to be on different texture sheets purely just because we have so much stuff. Alright, so now we can apply the mirror, hit unwrap one more time, and then move this to the unwrapped layer. Now we can focus on the cannon. Should still have all this left, but I don't think the legs are going to take that long, so it's mostly just the head, cannons, torso that are going to take a little bit of time here. So go ahead and apply the bevel, hide everything else, and figure out how we want to unwrap this beast. So I think we definitely want to cut around here. Hit unwrap. Uh-oh. This is a little bit weird. Yeah, we want to fix the mounting on this. Yeah. Okay, so now that actually matches, so that's pretty cool. And we can hide this guy while we're unwrapping the main portion here. The balance here is finding ways to make it flat without making things stretch too much. And I'm curious how much of this piece right here I want to unwrap, so we'll take a look at how that looks. It looks like it's getting stretched a bit, so we'll go ahead and cut one more. And then we will cut here, cut here, cut here. And inside there, we can actually merge some of these vertices. So we can select these three edge loops, go to vertex, and then remove doubles. Oh, nope. Remove doubles, and then up the distance until it removes them. And then we can cut that edge. Because we do want this face in here so we can paint it fully black when we're texture painting. And hopefully the music isn't too loud here. I think this is already cut. Alright, so we'll cut you. We'll cut you. We'll cut you, we'll cut you. And then we gotta figure out what we're doing over here. These I think can be merged again. That looks like it's creating some weird results. Oh, I think it's passable. Nobody's even gonna see the back of the cannon anyway. Hey Mason, how's it going? I am unwrapping the robot today, which is tedious as hell. I'm just gonna do it this way instead. I'm gonna drag the edges in and then select all three and remove doubles. and that should get rid of all the overlapping ones. That way we don't get the weird deformation. And then we can triangulate this. Okay, so we should have this top piece. This piece we need to cut. This piece looks fine. This piece we need to cut. Yeah, this is the same boss, Mason. It's taking a lot longer than I was originally anticipating just because of all the steps I have to go through. Alright, so we've got, let's see, you. This all looks correct so far. And then you we can triangulate. And then we can do the bottom piece. Which texturing this is going to be a total bitch. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. Cool. So then we can unwrap it all together and apply the mirror and unwrap it and put it on our unwrapped layer. Next, let's do the cannon bases. Alright, see you later, Atticus. Thanks for stopping by. Which I think we can get rid of the bevel on that. Oh man, ZBrush. I love ZBrush. I'm not gonna worry about weld lines for a game, but this is what it ended up looking like model-wise. I got the arms unwrapped yesterday, so now I'm gonna try to get the rest today since I have a bit more time. This one's gonna be really easy to unwrap. We just turn the segments down to 2, cut across that, unwrap it, and since this is gonna be obstructed most of the time, I'm not gonna worry about it being stretched. Yeah, the only downfall to substance and texture programs is you have to unwrap everything. We didn't apply the mirror on this though. There we go. Yeah, I wanted to make something really cool, because this is going to be like the main final boss and the final piece of the game pretty much, other than more unlockable fists, so I wanted it to be pretty badass. That we can fix, but I don't think anybody's going to be paying attention to that, so we'll just leave it alone. I'll tell you, doing stuff for games, you get really fast at unwrapping stuff. And then we want to hide the seams on the back here, I think. And that looks pretty good to me. So we can apply the mirror. And then move that to our unwrapped layer. Next. We can focus on the... Oh, dear God. Let's go to the head. I don't want to focus on that yet. Holy shit. And hopefully the music isn't too overpowering for my voice or anything. I just figured having something in the background would be nice. Although this track is kind of... Yeah, there we go. Much better. Yeah, let's do the head first and then the torso. Like, I'm really dreading doing the torso. That's gonna suck. So, start with these pieces. Everything looks properly beveled. We'll go ahead and triangulate it. In terms of seams on normals, I discovered a lot of that between Substance and ZBrush, at least, can be that you need to flip the green channel in ZBrush since it uses OpenGL normals and Substance uses DirectX, I think, or the other way around. They use different types of normals, which causes weird seams sometimes. You have to Google which one is which, but that's why I tend to get weird normal issues if I forget about that. Okay, that's a separate object already, so we're fine there. Which means we're gonna want to delete this face. I think we can actually merge. I think these are close enough to... Yeah, these are overlapping, so we'll just remove bevels. Now, I think we probably want to cut around here. And normally I would do the bottom of these, but since the back is facing away from the player, we'll cut seams on the back. And I think that looks pretty good. And we're next. Let's do this piece. And we'll approach this the same way we were approaching stuff yesterday. Alright, later Mason, thanks for stopping by. Always good to talk to you. So I think I'm pretty happy with how solid this is. So we'll go ahead and apply the solidify, and then we will bevel some edges. Which, this isn't horribly necessary. Yeah, let's not even worry about beveling those. It looks good enough as is. It'll catch the light. It's fine. So we'll go ahead and apply that, and then get to unwrapping. One piece at a time, I guess. Okay, so that one's good, so we'll go ahead and separate it out. We'll tackle this one. And we can, once we get everything laid out better, and combined, we can make the back faces much smaller. They just need some detail. They can be pixelated as all hell though, because they're gonna be dark. Over next. And we could cut this edge right here since it's technically kind of a corner, or this one at least. But I don't think that's necessary. It's not going to fix much stretching. It looks like we missed some beveling on this one, which that'll be fine. It's in the back. Nobody will notice. The only issues that's going to cause is cutting out the back face. But it's not worth redoing everything else we've done. Alright. Hide you. The reason I'm hiding those is so we don't get weird edge loop issues. Or selections. Okay, and we don't need that one cut. Looks good. Honestly, we can just select the one and, oh, I guess 3. And that looks pretty good to me. We're next. So select these. And then we gotta select these two. And these two. And these two. and these two. So that'll separate that out. Then we can select these three. Although we can also just hold Control and right click and tag it that way since we have tag seam turned on. And that looks good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And now for these ones. Which these are definitely higher poly than they need to be. We'll see if it causes any performance issues later, and we can always decimate it or fix it or whatever. Nothing overlapping, looks good. And then we'll recombine all these and give them one final unwrap before we move them to the next layer. And we missed some bevels here again, which is going to be a pain in the ass, but workable. And again, if these were in any way visible, I would fix that, but these are just background detail, so doesn't really matter a whole lot. And one final corner. And this is our last little headpiece here. And I don't know why I'm cutting this one like this. I guess I'm just switching it up a little bit. There are like 3 million ways to accomplish anything in Blender. So why not switch it up? Might discover something faster. Okay, so now we can select all of these head pieces that we unwrapped. I think that's all of them. Join those. And then send that to our unwrapped layer and move on to the next piece, which we'll do this long piece. And this one's gonna be pretty easy. So you can go ahead and apply the solidify, apply the bevel. Actually, I don't know that these inside edges need to be beveled, that's just extra faces. So we'll go ahead and get rid of those being beveled. And otherwise looks good, and we can even delete this edge loop because we're not even using it. But now we can apply the bevel. And we can select these, cut it, and select these corners and cut them. And then, these are really long, weird pieces. Since this is covered by this circle, we can go ahead and cut it in half. Probably right here is fine. And that'll give us much more manageable pieces. Move that to the unwrapped layer and let's move on to the next piece. And save before it crashes. And It looks like this is all connected properly. Let's see. I think we do need the inside face of this, but we don't need to bevel it. So we'll cut you, and just to make this easy to separate in substance, we'll cut you. Come to the back, cut that, and that piece is done. Remember next, let's do the eyes. Which again, these back faces don't really need to be beveled. And we can apply the bevel. Cut on the bottom, I think. Actually, we're going to be looking up at this guy, so cut on the top. And that looks pretty good to me. The eyes are just going to be an emissive kind of texture, so we don't really have to worry about them stretching too much, and I'd rather them stretch than have a seam on them. So now let's do these tubes. These are super high resolution. We can down that some for sure. Not too much, because then we can just delete edges later. So we'll convert this to a mesh. We will delete this side and mirror it, so we only have to do it once. But then we can delete like every other one of these. This is detail that very few people are even going to see. I think that looks a lot better. And it doesn't look better in terms of visual aesthetic, but it looks better in terms of poly count for sure. So then we can pick an edge, cut around it, unwrap it. Looks fine. Apply the mirror. Looks good. Move that to our layer. Remember next, let's do these pieces. Which, these ones are different on either side, so we're not going to be able to mirror those. And that's fine. Let's take a look at... Oh, these look... We already took care of the resolution on these. Nice. Yeah, I think these look fine. So we'll just pick the back edges and see what happens. That looks fine. So we'll take those two unwrapped there and move on to the next piece. Let's do the center piece, which this is mirrored, so that's going to save us a little bit of time. So we'll apply the bevel. We'll go ahead and triangulate this face. We'll just cut off this top piece right here, because this isn't going to really matter in the long run. And we'll cut on the back. Again, normally I would do bottom, but the back is going to be the least visible part. And then we'll apply the mirror. And that looks good to me. Remember next, let's do these wires. And we'll actually cut these wires in half so they don't make such weird long shapes, because they're just pretty much going to be a solid color with maybe some dirt on them when we get them in the Substance Painter. In terms of resolution, they look fine. And we can probably even down-res them one more on this axis. Because these are just a smooth cylindrical object, nobody's going to know the difference. I'm going to cut these on the interior, see what that looks like. Not great, so then we'll cut them in half. And that looks a lot better. Now the neck, which I don't know how much this is going to be able to bend, so we might want to cut this up a little bit. So we will select that edge. Let's go ahead and unhide it, or hide everything except it, because we want some overlap area for these since we're gonna have to rig it, and we want to go to edge selection mode, not vertex selection mode. And then we'll do an edge split. So now all these are separate. And then we will merge those at the center to prevent anything from showing that we don't want. And then we'll try to make that flush. Doesn't matter a whole lot because it's going to be covered up. And then we can take these guys and give it some overlap so he has some neck bending room when we rig it. And for better or for worse, we'll stick with our decision later. It just might limit how I can animate it. Let's see how that looks. Looks fine. So let's unwrap it. And we'll unwrap along the back. And we also have to apply the bevel. Which you'll notice is looking pretty weird right now. We'll fix it in just a second. And the question is, do I want to cut this out as its own thing? And I think we're going to want to just remove the bevel here and then cut it. That'll give us more texturing options, I think. Alright. And I think that we don't have any overlap there. No overlap, just making sure. Cool. Then I think what we can do is take these and cut them. I think that'll give us better results. Yeah, those are still a little bit weird. I don't know why it's coming out so weird, honestly. We can try angle-based, and that might give us better results. Definitely gave us better results. We can even try... I'll leave that cut. That really comes up to personal preference, though. Okay, so we've got you. I'm just going through and making sure everything is cut where we want it to be cut. I think we're good. So, okay, the head's done. Now let's move on to the torso. So we'll do this neck piece next. In terms of beveling, I think it looks good, so we'll just apply. And then we can triangulate this, because it's going to be triangulated anyway. Oh, I see what's happening. So we had a couple extra edge loops there for that. And that's totally fine. We can even remove some of those faces. Like, it's perfectly fine to tie off vertices like this. And we can turn this distance down to 0.0001, and that way we only remove the ones that are exactly overlapping. Okay, now we can get to unwrapping this bad boy. I don't know if we even need to unwrap these pieces. Like, you gotta... Yeah, that looks fine. Gotta make compromises at some point. That almost looks fine. I kind of want to cut this piece out by itself, but I don't know, I think it looks fine. Even conformal, that looks fine. So then we'll cut around here. So you're a piece, you're a piece, you're a piece. I gotta cut these pieces. And I think this can all be one piece. I think that'll be fine. Oh, we can tie off those edges before we do that. I'm thinking we can tie these off. Like right here. That'll be fine. We're going to have to figure out a way to select just the vertices we want to remove doubles on. Looks good. I don't think we have any overlap on these. We definitely still do right here, though. And looks good. Now we can triangulate this and it should go to the center. Which the question is this fine? And I think it is. I don't think it's going to cause us too many issues. Alright, so number next, let's do... First of all, let's split this up into a couple pieces. So we'll split that up, just to make our unwrapping job a lot easier. So we'll do front, back, and shoulders individually. And let's see here. Okay, it looks like the center pieces here aren't even necessary. That's completely fine without those faces. So, we can move on to unwrapping these next. Apply the solidify, apply the bevel, cut out the bottoms. Since this is such a simple object, we can just do all these at once and that's going to be easy enough. Cool. If anybody in the chat has any Blender questions or anything, I'm perfectly happy to answer stuff. I think that's pretty fun. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here unwrapping this robot. Looks good. We'll move that to our unwrapped layer, and we'll move on to the front. Dear God, this looks like a disaster. And it looks fine aesthetically. Unwrapping this is going to be hard. So we have to figure out the best way to handle this. First of all, turn the bevel down to 2 segments. We can even tighten it up some, I think, after we apply the solidify. And this, yeah, let's apply the solidify, apply the scale, and then work on the bevel distance. I think something like that's pretty good. And then any of these interior faces that are beveled, we're going to want to bevel all the way around. Just for continuity of edge loops. Oh shit, that looks really bad. We're gonna have to fix that. Let's isolate this and fix it up. Because that looks bad. Alright, that's much more tolerable. I'm not gonna say great, because it's not great, but it's workable. I think we can make this a bit sharper though. Yeah, okay, that looks a lot better for that. And then, do all these look alright? I think they do. So we're gonna select anything that's hard and we're gonna make the bevel go all the way around. Again, just for continuity of edge loops. I think that's all of them. So we'll go ahead and save where we are, apply the bevel, and then just take it one piece at a time. And that looks good to me. Separate it, because we don't want to work on stuff that we've already unwrapped. Do the same thing for this one. And that looks pretty good. So number next. That looks good. looks good. We're next. That looks good. And this would have been a hell of a lot easier to unwrap if I hadn't made everything asymmetrical. I think we can do these 3 at once. Actually, we can just do the rest of this pretty easily. Oh, fuck off. I missed bevel here. And same over here. Okay, so now did I miss? Oh, I missed one here too. Now we should be able to do this relatively easily. So we will cut around this corner. And select these. And then this is the screwed up one. And that looks pretty good. Just one more piece, which is this one. And that all looks fine to me. So now we can take all of the chess pieces, merge those, unwrap, and put those on our unwrapped layer. Let's do the back piece and then we'll get to the interiors. So we'll apply the solidify, and then we'll carry around the bevels for the hard edges. Just because you'll notice that these edges here aren't beveled, so it'll make weird triangulations. So we want to carry it all the way around so we have edge loop consistency. Okay, so then we can apply our bevel, come in here, mark those, hide those. The reason we're hiding those is so we don't select edge loops on them. That looks good. Okay, all the body armor is done. Now we gotta do the interiors, which this is getting relatively easy because it's mostly just pipes. We can go ahead and finish up the panels though by doing these. And I think we don't even need the back faces on these once we apply everything. So we'll go ahead and delete those. completely unnecessary since they're colliding into the thing. And the rest of this looks pretty good, so we'll go ahead and apply our bevel. And those look good. So this is what we have left here. Let's do the big pieces first and leave the wires, which are easy, for last. We'll triangulate this. We don't know if the person's going to see the back, so we'll just leave it. It's not that expensive. Apply the bevel. Then we'll mark seams where we think they need to go. And we'll do the underside on these ones. So we've got strip, 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 cap, cap, which you do not need to be cut. And you do not need to be cut. Other than that, looks about right. So number next, let's do the power core. That does not need to be beveled, and make sure nothing else is beveled that doesn't need to be. The rest of this looks fine. So we will turn that down. We can probably even harden up the edges a little bit and apply our bevel. We'll cut around here. So that's going to make some weirdness, and this is going to be like a light of some sort, so we want that to be on its separate little island. I mean, this is causing a little bit of weirdness, but not enough weirdness for me to want to change things up. We can probably cut these out though, and that'll solve some of the stretching. And then cut around these corners so they butterfly out. That looks pretty good. We have to worry about this part now though. So that takes care of the top, now we gotta do the back. And we'll just cut around the bottom right here. Triangulate that. And I think overall that looks pretty decent. Again, this is not the final UV layout. We're going to combine a bunch of these meshes onto more compact sheets. So right now I'm just looking for stretching. Alright, so now I'll take this piece. And we only need 2 segments. And then we'll cut along the back. That looks good. We don't need a background image anymore, that's just getting annoying. Let's go ahead and do these guys because they're easy. The reason they're stretched like that is because the scale is not uniform. If we can find the scale. Oh, so yeah, the scale is not uniform, which is making the UVs warped, so we'll go ahead and apply the scale, which is going to fuck up our bevel, so we'll harden that a little bit. And down that to 2. apply it, unwrap them, and for what those are, they look fine. We don't have to worry about stretching on those. Let's finish off the power core by doing these guys, and we can just join them, apply the bevel, and cut out these corners, and we'll be fine. That looks good to me. I don't think the scale is uniform, so that's totally fine. Wires are easy, but I'm dreading getting to them. They're not fun, just because there's so many of these. So let's do these sections, which it looks like we can actually delete some of these edges. And save on face count here. Let's see where else we can save. Looks like right here we can save on some texture sheet space. And right here we can definitely save on some texture sheet space. Not necessarily face count, but it'll be better this way. And over here we can definitely save. And the rest of this looks pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and unwrap these on the back, I think, because that's going to be the least visible to the player. Those look fine. So now we can do these. I think we can join these. Make them a bit more rounded, turn that down to 2. And really I don't need to cut these, but I will just, I don't know. Because that's the decision I'm making in the moment. If we wanted to get really fancy, what we can do is uncut the top 2. So we get combined objects, but I'm not going to worry about that. Alright, this is what we got left. Now we've been going for less than an hour. We've made a shit ton of progress today. This is pretty good. This is everything we've unwrapped so far. Nice. I'm thinking arms will be on a texture sheet, torso will be on a texture sheet, hands will be on their own because those are gonna be closest to the player. Let's go ahead and triangulate these. Apply the bevel. We don't care about the mirror right now because we only want to unwrap once. And from the front, we want to grab the back ones. And we missed a face here. Otherwise, this looks totally fine. So we can apply the mirror. Move that down. I just got a bunch of wires left and like this weird light. So we'll go ahead and do the weird light. Let's go ahead and unbevel these edges, because that was not intentional. Then apply the bevel. And I think the top is going to be less visible in this case. So that looks pretty good to me. I guess we just got wires left, so let's hop into it. These guys, I think we can down-res a little bit. They're already at 8. Let's try that. 6. 6 looks better. So, we'll go ahead and save before we do anything too crazy. And then let's just pick edges that are facing away from the player and see what that looks like. But you still got a few. Oh, this is unwrapping totally fine. Cool. These were cylinders. Oh man. Are we mirroring this? We are. Okay, that's cool. I think we can delete like half of these edge loops. Save on some face count for things that people aren't really going to be paying attention to. Yeah, you can see almost no visual difference, but it's going to save us twice the faces for this object. So then we can select the 2 edges that are closest, that are furthest away from the player, apply the mirror, and then shove this on that layer. These look fine in terms of poly count. So we'll just go ahead and cut that edge. I think on both of them. That looks fine. So now we'll move on to these wires. Poly count looks fine on these. Let's try to select these back edges and see what happens. Looks good. And then these ones, I think we can tone down the poly count a good bit. Maybe 6. That looks pretty good. And that looks fine. It's not great, it's not amazing, but it looks fine. And that's all we really care about, especially since those are just interior kind of things. We can even cut down on the poly count on these some. Like, this edge is unnecessary, one's unnecessary. And then we can remirror this after the fact. So now we can just delete this, add modifier or mirror, apply it, unwrap, and we're good. We're almost done with the torso. But maybe we'll try to finish unwrapping completely. And then I can hop into texturing later tonight after I do some meal prep. Okay, so this, we can split down the center. And then cut on the inner loop. And these guys look good. We'll just do the edge that's facing away from the player on each instance. And then we can do this piece. Round it off a bit more. Less beveling. Looks good. And then we'll cut along the back. what are you? Okay, I missed one. Cool. I guess we'll hop into the pelvis now. So everything looks like it's beveled where it's supposed to be. So, I'll go ahead and apply the mirror because I don't want to even think about dealing with that. And apply the solidify and apply the bevel. So, number 1. And we'll separate as we've been doing just to make our lives a little bit easier. So I think these two pieces we can handle together. We might want to cut them in half because nobody's going to even see down that far, and it'll make our sheet a little bit less awkward. So we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, that'll make our lives a little bit easier. Although, let's move it back one. Those look good. And then I don't think we would need to separate them out. This will be easy enough as is. So now we can join these back and then put this on the unwrapped layer. Ugh. Man, I slept in until like noon today and I'm still tired for some reason. Alright, these are definitely way too high resolution. We'll go ahead and fix that. And then we'll fix it some more once we apply the mesh. But let's focus on this center piece for right now. Looks good. Looks good. We can make it a little bit rounder, I think, even. Make it catch the light more when it's in the engine. And then for this one, we'll cut along the back, not the bottom. And that looks good to me. So next, let's do these wires. Save. Convert these to mesh. These edge loops are completely unnecessary. And then we'll cut along the back for each of these, because that's what the player's not going to see. Okay, so then we can convert this to mesh. These are unnecessary. We can spread these out a little bit. These are unnecessary. We can spread these out a little bit. And then we can cut along the back. Those look fine. So these are mirrored, which is going to save us a little bit of time here. Nice. Let's see if there are any faces we can delete. That looks like a face we can delete. And it even looks like a face we can bring out some. I think we can round this up a little bit more, make the bevel more pronounced. Does not need to be beveled on the inside of this. We can even turn off ambient occlusion to see this stuff easier. Can't believe I didn't think of that earlier. It's fine. Looks good. So now we can apply the bevel. On this one, I think we can go around the back here. You want to hide the seams where people aren't going to see them. That's the trick. Because Substance Painter does a great job, but it's not perfect. I lost myself a little bit here. We'll cut along the back for these. And for this one, we haven't cut any of these edges, so we'll go ahead and do that. And we haven't cut any of these ones, so we'll go ahead and do that as well. And then we'll go ahead and cut these guys, and then we'll figure out the cylindrical cuts we need to do. Oh, and we have missed this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Wow, good music cue there. That looks pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and triangulate all these faces. Okay, so now we need to figure out where we're gonna cut main seams. You're good. You're good. You're good. We'll just hide things as we realize they're good, and that'll be fine. You're good. You're good. You're good. Good to go. 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 Not good to go. Good to go. So I'm just looking over here and seeing which one of these wraparounds aren't cut. Super easy stuff. I don't think this one's cut, so we will cut this one on the back. I think that's the end of it. Oh, no, we still got a few more. Okay, so you're fine. You're fine. 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 Got a few to do here. Alright, that looks good. I'll shove you there. And now we don't have much left. Very cool. Now the feet are not very detailed. I'm not too worried about that at all. Let's go ahead and do these pipes before we forget. I think we can take their resolution down even a little bit more. These ones we can definitely down-res more, and these we can definitely down-res more, but we'll do that manually. Because all these edge loops are unnecessary. The reason I'm clicking twice is because this is mirrored across. Yeah, I think that's honestly fine. You can drag that up some. The legs are gonna be down below anyway, so. Looks cool to me. Now we can unwrap these. Edges away from the player. Oh wow, we got a bunch of edges here. I think that's all of them. We missed one. Oh, we also missed these for down-resing. And then finally, these guys right here. Now we just have the panels left. We're gonna do these separately, so we'll do these. And then we'll do the bottom ones. These don't look like they're gonna be too difficult. Let's just go ahead and bevel the edges that aren't currently beveled. I think we can pronounce the bevel a little bit more since these are further away, they need to catch the light more. Then we can apply the solidify, and then we can, these inner edges do not need to be beveled. That's just extraneous detail that's going to eat on processor time. And then same for these ones. Cool. And we could bevel these if we really cared, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So we'll go ahead and apply our bevel. cut the insides out. They do need to be there. They do not need to have a lot of detail. That's what that's looking like, so we'll cut the corners. Oh, hey Atticus. Welcome back. We're almost done unwrapping. We're getting there. I missed a corner. I think we got it all. So now we can apply the mirror, unwrap it, looks good. This is all we have left to unwrap. So, let's put bevels on the edges that we don't have currently, to make our unwrapping job easier. And then we can apply the solidify. These are hard, we want to make them hard all the way around. And we can unbevel these interior edges. I think we hit everything we need to. So we'll go ahead and save, apply our bevel, and get to unwrapping. Cool. Don't need you, you, or you. Make sure there are no corners that we missed. Looks good. We can move that to our unwrapped there, and now we just have these feet left, which, wow, these feet are ugly. I'm just sitting here thinking how I want to approach this. This is ugly as hell. Let's just jump in and do it. It's the only way to get it done. I don't think these need to be solidified. So we'll actually separate these. And get rid of the solidify because it's unnecessary for these. And then we'll go for it. Looks fine. So now we got these paneled up feet. And these are just a mess. But the reason I don't really care about that is because they're going to be so far away from the player, nobody's even probably going to look down. So in that respect, I think we're fine. So, let's get started. I think we've beveled everything we need to. So we'll apply the solidify. These are hard edges, so we'll make sure all the hard edges are beveled all the way around. Just because it'll make our lives a hell of a ton easier. I think that's all of them. And we can apply the beveling and do this one piece at a time. Oh, we missed some. Did I miss any more? I don't think so. And if we did, we'll just deal with it when we come to it. So, we did miss right there, but that's fine. We can probably even cut this in half, or cut this up in a couple places. Let's go ahead and hide the interior. We'll figure out where to cut it later. We just want to cut these corners first. Looks good. Looks good. And then I think we can cut around this edge right here. And then maybe up front somewhere here to try to get even sized things. Which I screwed this up big time. That looks good to me. So now we can separate that and move on to the next piece. Those are overlapping a little bit, which is no bueno. But we will solve that eventually. We're gonna have to redo this later once we unwrap everything together. Maybe if we add a loop there, it'll help it. Nah, it's just screwed. So, we'll just tolerate it. Nice. That was easy enough. And then same as the other foot piece, we can take this and cut this in a couple areas to make it much more even. Much better. Looks good to me. And then apply the mirror. And we are done, I think, unwrapping this robot. Now we just have to figure out how to combine things. So the head will definitely be one, I think. We can bring that all the way down to here. So let's make a few different materials. We'll call this Roboss. We'll just do RB underscore head. RB will stand for Robot Boss. So let's just select these. I think that will make for one good object. Let's save as a new iteration before we do this stuff though. And so head. I think that looks good for one texture sheet. Cool. And we'll call this one, yeah, this will have RB underscore head. Let's see what's still on this layer, just a lamp. So as we combine things, we'll move them up a layer. Cannons we'll put together. We can probably even put those together with the shoulder pads, but I kind of want to put all the armor on one. Oh, and we'll title this material RB Cannon. The reason we need to put these on separate materials is once we take it into Substance Painter, it'll split separate materials into separate layers of texture sheets. So anything we want to be together in Substance Painter needs to all be on one material. Okay, so then let's put the arms together as a thing. And the hands will be on their own for sure. Yeah, this is cutting it a little bit close. Call this RB arms. We'll take the torso. Let's go ahead and throw in the pelvis here too. Looks good. We can call this one RB torso. These look like the normals got flipped. Make sure nothing else is happening to that effect. Looks good to me. Legs, I think we can put all together. Because those are going to be low down in the dark. We didn't apply the mirror on this. Anything else have a mirror? We did not apply the mirror on this. Legs. Let's go with our own naming conventions here, though. And next we'll do hands. Which I think we want both of the hands to be different. Oh shit. Wow. We'll put each hand on its own texture sheet. Oh, wow. Did I... I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay. And these are still individual. Cool. So looking at this from the top and rotating it around like this so the thumbs are sticking out. This will be hand right. And this will be hand left. I'm not really sure what's going on here. We'll just delete that. Okay, so we've got arms. And then we can go ahead and, on each of these, we can take the inside panels and scale those down by 50% or so. Because those are going to be unnecessarily big relative to the other pieces, since these are invisible. So let's just come in here, make sure we didn't miss anything. Yeah. All your texture sizes for objects don't need to be uniform. Make things that are less visible smaller, because it saves space on your texture sheet. Looks good to me. So we'll select all the inside panels over here too. And over here as well. Okay, so now we can scale these down by about 0.5. And pack islands again, that'll make everything else bigger. This inside piece can also be smaller. And another thing we have access to is this. Maybe it's this one? My friend gave me a plugin that automatically packs things. Which will take some time, so worry about that in a second. Alright, so arms good. Hands. Let's grab the inside panels of these and scale those down. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. We weren't selecting faces. I was worrying I had improperly unwrapped that. Again, all the inside panels are there just for extraneous detail, so they can have lower resolution textures and that'll be fine. Same for the fingers. So we'll take all the inside panels here, scale them by 0.5, and then pack the islands, and that'll give us more detail on the large portions of the hand. Do the same thing over here. Cool. Oh man, and then this interior one, if we can get it. I think grabbing that face. Looks like we got them all. Much better. Yeah, not bad at all. Same for the torso. Grab all the inside faces. Got them all. We also need to handle the pelvis down here. Okay. We're missing that one. Otherwise, I think we got them all. So now we can scale these down by 0.5. Pack islands. You can even go further and scale down these. That's not going to save us a lot of space, but it's whatever. Do the same thing for the head. And the head, you'll notice we have all these open ring areas that we want to fill. So we're going to try the Smart Packer. I think we got everything that matters. And then let's go ahead and try the Smart Packer. Let's just see what it does. We'll try 20 iterations to make it go fast. And then we'll start pack. And it's thinking. And that's doing a much better job already, but I think we can... Wow, that didn't fit everything. Okay, we're gonna try a couple other things. I think we can even lower the margin here a little bit. Up here to 25. And start packing again. Okay, looking better for sure, but everything doesn't fit. So that's kind of some bullshit. Good job, Packer. So let's try to fit everything that didn't fit manually. And since we have Substance Painter, we don't have to worry about organizing this in areas where we know where things are. Okay, nothing's extending past the image bounds. This is... And we can fit this right here, and this is the only thing that's being kind of a bitch. Everything else looks pretty good. I think that's passable for the head. Let's move on to the cannons. We'll do a Smart Pack just because there's stuff that can fit inside the circles. We'll up this to 35 iterations. While that's doing its thing, I'm gonna go use the restroom. That looks about as good as I'd be able to do, so we'll call it quits on those. We can definitely scale down the inside faces on these. And definitely on the feet. It's questionable as to whether the ones on the feet are even really needed. Pack those. Don't think we need to even smart pack. This looks like it got pretty tight. So that's cool. Yeah, that looks honestly pretty good. Arms, we might want to smart pack. Let's try it. Hey, Remus Gryffindor LP, how's it going? I know you've stopped in here and chatted a little bit sometimes. I know, we're just waiting for this percent mark to go up. And we'll see if it does a better job. If not, we might manually pack this a little bit. It takes so much time because it's just thinking. Almost there. Oh, that looks a lot better. Nice. Man, I love this auto packer. It does a pretty good job. It's by no means perfect, but what is in this world? That looks pretty good to me. That's like about as tight as we're ever gonna get on anything. Let's take a look at the hands and see if we can improve that. Hands honestly look pretty good, but let's see if it'll do a better job. Oh, this is a lot of islands, so it's thinking pretty hard. I'll just give it a little bit longer here. Okay, so let's see. It was that versus that. I don't notice a whole lot of a difference, but this looks a little bit tighter. So we'll go with it, because it's putting stuff in the closed areas, which is nice. So let's do the same thing on the other hand. Let's put this up to 50 just to see what happens. Might come up with better results. Might crash, who knows. And this looks like it might take a while. So I'm gonna play a stupid game on my phone while I wait. If anybody has any Blender questions or anything in the chat, feel free to ask. Always happy to show that stuff off. It's about a quarter of the way there. Oh, the Pokemon videos, we had a season 2 planned. we had a little bit of scripting done. But then I got caught up making a VR game because it's more profitable to make your own thing than it is to work on a parody. We might get back to the Pokemon eventually, haven't decided yet. I know it was popular, people liked those a lot, but I'm really liking this VR stuff. Okay, that looks much better. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm flipping between the two. It's definitely increasing the size a little bit. It's giving us a little bit better texture resolution, so I'm alright with that. And we'll go ahead and pack this one at 50 as well. Oh yeah, you have to have VR, unfortunately. It's unfortunate how expensive VR is. Like, I understand why it's so expensive, because there's a lot of technology that goes into it, but... yeah. After I finish up Punch Bomb, I'm gonna work on some AR projects for the phone, hopefully, so more people will be able to play with those. Because augmented reality is really cool, too. Of course, VR has gotten less expensive. The biggest cost on it right now is just getting a PC that can run it, and graphics cards are expensive because of all of the cryptocurrency miners. Like a card that was $700 or $800 last year is like $1,500 right now, which is absurd. It's just thinking. So, do you do video game Let's Plays a lot on your channel? I need to check it out. Oh, PlayStation's a whole other deal. The tracking on PlayStation VR just isn't on par with the PC VR solutions. Alright, this looks a lot better. And it's only 180 degrees while this game is 360 degrees. Which there are ways to get around that, and I'm not saying I'll never do it. It would just take a lot of work and a lot of thinking about it. Alright, later, Remus Gryffindor, thanks for stopping by. Let's go ahead and do the smart pack on this too. I don't have anything against PlayStation VR, I just don't even know where to begin on getting it to work on it, and I don't have a PlayStation dev kit because those cost a decent amount of money. Man, this auto packing tool is saving me a hell of a lot of time. Normally I would go in and auto-arrange and fill all of the empty space in here, which takes forever. The auto-pack isn't going to do quite as good of a job as I probably would, but it's a hell of a lot faster. Yeah, PlayStation VR only has the trackers in front of you, so if you turn around and the controllers get obstructed by your body, you're going to lose tracking on the controllers, which For some games, that's totally fine. For a VR game where you have to punch stuff in a circle, the fists are pretty important. Oh wow, this did a great job. Of course, we can take these pieces and scale them down. Yeah, let's unwrap and then redo the scaling down for the interior pieces since we missed some. Because we don't want to waste texture sheet space, that's a big no-no. And then we can select the undersides here. I think that's about all of the interior. So we can scale those down by 0.5. We don't want to scale them down too much. Pack the islands, and then we'll run the smart pack again. Oh, funny enough, PSVR is actually what got me into VR in the first place. I tried it at SIGGRAPH several years ago, before it even came out. And I was just like, oh, I want to do this. And it's just thinking. Okay, I think that's better. We can compare. Yeah, it's getting things a little bit bigger, which is all that really matters. Take advantage of as many pixels as you can on the texture sheet, and that's all you can ask for. Looks pretty good to me. I think we can try to auto-pack this. I was thinking this one shouldn't take as long as the torso. Like, it looks pretty packed. I don't know how much this is going to improve this. But it doesn't take long enough to where I don't want to try it. Oh hey, that's a pretty decent improvement. So it was that, now it's that. I don't think it necessarily scaled anything up, but it definitely packed it tighter. It looks like it's getting a little bit bigger. So we'll keep it. That one looks good, that looks good. That looks good. That looks as good as it's going to. And that looks pretty good. I think we can do this with more iterations. Ugh. Looks like it did a little bit better job. Some stuff is going off though. So we'll move it in some. Or we'll just keep the old one. It's fine. Yeah, it's definitely passable. I think we're done unwrapping, guys. Is this scale not uniform or something? No, it's uniform. Uh-oh, this one's not. I mean, the UVs look fine, because it was uniform, it just wasn't one. So I think those UVs are going to be fine. Let's go through and just make sure all of the scales are uniform. I'm looking right here to see that. Uh-oh. The normals got flipped when I applied the scale. Otherwise, I think this all looks fine. Cool. We are done unwrapping this robot. So let's do a test render here. See where we stand. We'll look at it from this angle since the light's coming from that angle. And we'll hide these guys. See what it looks like. Cool, that's what our robot is currently looking like. So next we're gonna take it into Substance Painter and texture it, but we'll take like an hour or two break before we do that. So we have it split up: legs, torso, arms, hand, head, cannons. We can probably honestly fit the cannons on the torso, so we'll go ahead and do that before we call it quits. Save this as a new iteration before we screw stuff up. Pack islands. See what we're working with here. And then we'll smart pack it. Oh wait, no. We want to stop that. Because right now the cannons relatively are not the correct size, and then we're going to have to redo the interior faces. And y'all thought you were about to be rid of me. Not quite yet. Yeah, the reason I'm doing this, you can see how big some of these are, and they're just taking up space on the texture sheet for things that people aren't gonna see. So there's no reason for that, other than laziness. And nobody's gonna see that. Nobody's gonna see that, or that. Or that, or that, or that. So all this stuff that's inside like this, we can scale down a good bit. So we'll scale that down by 0.5, make it much smaller. Pack islands again, and then we'll run the smart pack. And then after this, we're gonna call it quits for like an hour or two, and then I'll come back and start texturing. I suspect the texturing is gonna take a decent amount of time to get it to look right. I suspect there's a good amount of space we're going to be able to fill here. Man, it is thinking hard. Go just a little bit longer. Oh wow, that did a great job. Like, it's definitely scaled up some, taking advantage of more pixels. There's this edge right here that's empty that I'm not too fond of, but it's probably better than I could do. So, in terms of packing, I think we're good on this, and I'll see y'all in a couple hours for the texturing. Thanks for stopping by the stream.